Good morning and welcome to the training on burnout, finding balance and harmony. My name is Dr. Stem. Full name is Stembile Mafatini. And yes, if you can hear an accent, I'm originally from Zimbabwe, but presenting to you from Orlando, Florida, right here in the USA. I'm so excited to do this because I am a mental health professional for the last 25 years, where I practice in private practice. I also am the founder of the Dr. STEM Empowerment Academy, where I do self-care success workshops as well as life career coaching. So I bring in a lot of excitement, but a lot of information as well to help you understand burnout as well as find coping skills on how to balance work, life, career, as well as find peace and harmony. So with that said, let's go ahead and start the training. Okay, we're going to do a quick centering meditation. And I know all of us have had a long day. So just so we can come together and center ourselves as we start this workshop. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes as you feel comfortable. And follow my voice when I say breathe in. When I ask you to breathe in through your nose with your mouth closed. And you hold it until I say breathe out. When I say breathe out through your mouth and just blow out slowly. And we'll do 5 of those just so we can relax and let out everything that we have experienced today. The stress, the anxiety, the thoughts, the bills, and everything else. We're just going to empty it out. Breathe in and relax. All right. Breathe in. And blow out. Breathe in. And blow out. Breathe in. And blow out. And I do 2 more. Breathe in. And blow out. Last one. Breathe in. And blow out. And now you may open your eyes. Okay. I know that works for me. I feel so much relaxed and I'm ready. So why should we pay attention to burnout? Why should this topic be really prevalent and very important to us at this moment, right now in this time? Well, burnout saps our energy. I mean, it just takes our whole being. It leaves you feeling increasingly helpless, hopeless, and many a time you really start feeling short and you just feel resentful and you're irritated and annoyed with everything at home, at work, or even in your business. Burnout reduces productivity in all aspects at work, at home. You just cannot do much where you finish projects where you feel accomplished because burnout exhausts you. The negative effects of burnout can easily and slowly spill over into every area of your life, which is the homework, and social life. It also, unfortunately, can cause changes to your body that make you vulnerable to illnesses like colds and headaches, body aches. Some people say back aches. They start having headaches as well. So you start having these medical problems because of burnout if it's not taken care of. And now, when you get ill, it's really difficult to take care of yourself. The truth about burnout, it affects all of us. It affects everyone, young and old. So, what is burnout? Burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion which is caused by excessive and prolonged stress. The physical symptoms and signs of burnout: you start to feel tired, drained most of the time. The immune system begins to lower. That means you're going to be having those colds, sneezing, coughing, just feeling ugh, or most of the time. Headaches, some people have muscle aches and pain, change in appetite or sleep habits. Like I said, irritability, it begins to show up as well. So in the emotional science, the signs, just being short is what people say. Oh my God, I'm just being short these days. Or a loved one will tell you, why are you getting so irritated and annoyed for? What did I do? When you hear that, let that be a sign that, maybe I'm starting to feel burnout and exhausted. Like I said, you feel helpless. Sometimes people say they feel trapped and defeated. They just feel alone in the world. There's a decrease in satisfaction or even a sense of self accomplishment when you're burned out. And then you feel like everyone else is wrong, or they're coming at you, or they're annoying you. So those are some of the symptoms that you start to look at in order to realize that, maybe I need to take a step back and take care of myself. Behavioral signs and symptoms include withdrawal, where you don't want to do anything, right? You want to be isolated from others, procrastinate, you take longer to get things done. Many people will use food, drugs, or alcohol, to suppress their feelings and emotions of helplessness and hopelessness caused by burnout, and taking frustrations out on others, skipping work or coming in late and leaving early, having a negative attitude, being stubborn and rigid in your thinking, and unwilling to listen to other people. So, what is the difference between stress and burnout? Because a lot of people confuse, the two. They're similar in many ways, but then they also differences. And I've put it out here for you to, see what the differences are. So, with stress, it's characterized by over engagement, and with burnout, it's disengagement. So in stress, you overdo things, you do way too much when you're stressed out. And then with burnout, it's literally withdrawing and not wanting to be a part of, much of what's going on, around you. And then when you're stressed out, you tend to be overreactive, right? So everybody's irritating you. You say a lot. Everybody's annoying you. Whereas with burnout, people report being blunt and just dull and just don't want to be talking anymore. They just, overwhelmed, and literally, it's too much. Everything, seems to be too much. And with stress, it produces urgency and hyperactivity, a sense of urgent and urgency. Whereas with burnout, it's literally hopelessness, helplessness. I don't want to do anything. So you see how, it's almost like with stress, you're a little bit more jumpy and you're anxious and you just want to do more, but at the same time you're overwhelmed. It's overwhelming. And with burnout, you literally want to check out. You don't want to do much more. I mean, and you want to stay out of it. So some of the differences are with stress. Most of it is caused by work related stressors, but we'll talk more about what causes stress and what causes burnout in the next slides that we have, because that also makes a big difference on the stress and the burnout. Let me remind you, stress may kill prematurely. It's very true. And why is that? Because it triggers medical and physical problems that usually will be damaging to the body. And once that happens now, it's really difficult for one to recover from the ailments. That's why, you'll hear people saying stress kills. And then, burnout does the same thing. It may make life seem not worth living, which when people get to that point where they say, well, my life is not worth living, it's literally on the borderline again of suicidal ideations, of just thinking that I'm better off not being here, I'm better off dead. So both of them are really, severe in that sense. Is this making sense, to you? Is what I'm saying now beginning to make sense, where you recognize to say, uh-oh, I pretty much need to take care of both, whether I'm stressed out or I'm burnout? Yes? Yes? Great. And if you have any questions, please put the questions in the chat room, because in the end, I will be answering your questions and we'll have an open discussion. So don't hesitate to put your comments and any questions that you may have in the chat room. So I'm just going to share this with you. And right after I finish, we are going right into the discussion so we can have an open discussion and I can also answer your question. So the question is, are you on the road to burnout? That's a question. Am I burnout? Or am I, about to be in that stage where I'm burnout? Here's what you need to, look at. You may be on your way to burnout, or already you are there if every day is a bad day for you. Caring about your work or home life seems to be a total waste of energy. You're just exhausted and you don't have it in you to take care of work and home as well. You are exhausted all the time. Most of your day is spent on tasks that you find either mind numbing, dull, or overwhelming, that everything is annoying, irritating, or a waste of time. You feel like nothing that you do makes sense. And you also feel unappreciated or underappreciated. You start to look around and say, you know what? Nobody even sees what I do and nobody cares about what I do. And that consumes you. And that takes away from everything that you used to do before, because now nobody's looking. So you're annoyed and irritated on that. So then your energy focuses on that more. That means everybody who comes across, bosses, wives, husbands, children, everybody's just annoying and everybody's unappreciative. But maybe you're on the road to burnout or you're already there. I like what John Patrick Hickey says: burnout is not the result of doing too much. It is the result of not getting enough rest. That's key right there. The result of not getting enough rest. So the question right now to you is, how much rest are you getting? And do you get enough rest? And let me see in the chat room. I'm seeing yes, no, and yes, yes. Some people are saying, yes, I do sleep, but no, I don't sleep enough. Yes, And yes, okay. So we've got a mix of, answers that we're getting. So the thing about it is being realistic with yourself and recognizing whether you're sleeping too much, sleeping too little, and not resting or resting too much. That is the key for you to recognize that so that you can take care of, burnout symptoms. So what are the causes of burnout? It's not caused solely by stressful work or too many responsibilities. There are also other factors that affect and cause burnout. And that's what I want to take a look at right now. Because many a time when we talk about burnout, most people think, oh, it's because of stress. And I'm not even stressed out. We're so quick to say, but I'm not even stressed out. And yet, now when we take a look at it, at some of the causes, that's when you really realize that, oh, okay, maybe I might be. All right. So there are work-related causes of burnout. Feeling like you have little or no control over your work, lack of recognition or reward for good work. And that's why in the other trainings that I do, I work with leadership, I work with management so that they can make the time and take the time to recognize, and or reward their employees, because employees feel burnout when they are not seen and when they are not heard. And in other words, also management might find it difficult to say, well, wait a minute, I have all those responsibilities. How can I babysit? Is what I've heard other leaders say. How can I babysit it? How can I? Well, in those leadership trainings, we talk about, some of the ways that leadership can actually fulfill this lack of recognition and reward for good work for their employees. Because guess what? In the end, you get more out of that from them when they feel recognized or rewarded for their work. When you're unclear or overly demanding, or have an overly demanding job expectation, that causes burnout. Doing work that's monotonous or unchallenging, that is just the same thing over and over and over again, it causes burnout at some point. And I've had people that will stay on a job for at least, pretty much around the third year. If it's the same thing over and over and over again without slight changes within there, people start to feel like it's getting monotonous and it's not challenging. Working in a chaotic or high pressure environment, that causes high burnout. Burnout is a byproduct of a dysfunctional home, a dysfunctional work environment, and a dysfunctional personal environment. Think about that. There are also lifestyle causes of burnout. That is working too much without enough time for socializing or relaxing, lack of close, supportive relationships, being in a toxic, emotionally draining relationship, taking on too many responsibilities without enough help from others. Or let me clarify this one, without asking for help. I've had many people that will say, well, I just hate asking for help. I don't like asking for help. Well, that's not good, because you never know who can help you and who can really release some of that load that you have, unless if you ask. And no doesn't mean that somebody does not want to help you out. It just means that they're not able to help out at that time, and that's okay. But ask anyway. Not getting enough sleep will cause burnout. Michael Gungo says burnout is what happens when you try to avoid being human for too long. You know what that means? You cannot go every day, every moment without taking breaks, without taking care of yourself, without taking care of your emotional, mental, physical, spiritual health. Even cars that we drive, we cannot drive the cars until the clunk and the engine clunk. we take care of them, we maintain them. We have what we call maintenance. Our body, mind, and souls also need maintenance. So you want to make sure that you prioritize that and take care of that. There are also personality traits that can cause burnout. And those personality traits include perfectionist tendencies, where you have someone saying nothing is ever good enough. I'm a perfectionist and I like things done this way. Trust me, I do understand, because I struggle with that as well. But I have people in check. I'm checking myself. And as I age, I notice that being a perfectionist also drains my energy. And I am not about to give up my energy and be stressed out and burn out because I am a perfectionist. So I will do the best that I can. And many a time I'll talk myself into, nope, that's good enough. And if I check with one person and say, hey, does this make sense to you? And they say yes, one person, they say yes, I'm done. I'm not going to worry about those that will say, well, but that doesn't make sense, No, we're not doing that. Pessimistic view of yourself and the world, that also can cause burnout. The need to be in control, reluctance to delegate to others. High achieving type A personality will cause burnout. Dr. Rebecca Ray said burnout, like any difficult experience, is a great teacher. My question is, what is it trying to tell you? What is your burnout trying to tell you? It always comes as a warning sign. It's an engine light. When you're driving your car and the engine light goes on, it is telling you something. Your oil is out, the tire needs air, the engine needs, your attention, you name it, the wipers need to be changed. There's always a reason why you get that red light, and so is the burnout. When you get the symptoms that we were talking about earlier, there's something that your body is telling you, pay attention. Dealing with burnout. When you're dealing with burnout, it requires the 3R approach. Have you ever heard about the 3R approach? Okay, before you see this screen right here, yes, no, 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 no. Okay, so the 3R approach is recognizing, watching for the warning signs, and then reverse, undoing the damage by seeking support and managing stress as well as those warning signs that you're seeing. And then we have 3, resilience, building your resilience, which is your ability to bounce back by taking care of your emotional and physical health. How do you do that? How can you cope with the burnout? Because how do you deal with those 3 R's? How do you take care of you? The first thing that I want to, remind you or encourage you to do is reach out to other people. Reach out to those people that are closest to you, that are helpful to you, but they won't panic and say, oh my God, what's wrong with you? That's not a helpful person. Find those that are calm enough that you can talk to, that are not going to scare you, but they're listening, they have a good listening ear. Reach out to those people. Be more sociable with your coworkers. I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, I don't know if I want to do that because my coworkers, they're not sociable themselves. Well, here's the thing, right? I'm saying be sociable because sometimes it helps when you know that you can, talk to somebody else about what you're experiencing, at work. So you have more in common, with them. Limit your contact with negative people. That's a given. Connect with a cause or a community group that is personally meaningful to you. On Monday through Friday at 8:30 every night, I join a prayer line. I mentioned I'm from Zimbabwe. So I join a prayer line that is, online now. We do telephone and Zoom, but we preach and hear preaching in Shona, which is my language, and that replenishes my energy. So I try by all means every 8:30 to join that prayer line, every evening and record that. And then, I'm helping out, with the recordings that we end up putting on YouTube, and other people from my country that understand Shona, they get to also be encouraged and inspired with those sermons that we get to hear live every week. So what is one cause or something that you can join, or a group that you can join that brings you meaningful meetings and messages? Find new friends, because sometimes the old friends do not bring you what you're seeking, the peace that you're seeking. So find new friends and connect with new people. Reframe the way that you look at life. We've heard this said before, about practicing gratitude, finding the things that you can be grateful for. Let me tell you, there's always something that you can be grateful for. So find something that you can be grateful for. Focus on the positive aspects of your life and what you're grateful for, because cultivating a mindset of gratitude can help you appreciate what you have rather than focusing on what you lack, which is draining, hence causes burnout. Embrace the challenges as opportunities. So instead of seeing challenges as obstacles, reframe them, look at them in another way, as opportunities for growth and learning. Because each challenge that you face can actually help you develop resilience, problem-solving skills, and also can enhance your personal growth. So start to reframe and embrace challenges as opportunities. Live in the present moment. Yes, practicing mindfulness, which is a way to help you focus on the present, being in the present. What we did at the beginning is mindfulness. And what I did was I brought you into this moment where we are now just open to this moment without having distractions and everything else that was going on in our minds, in our lives during the day. I did that so that we can be present in the moment. So practice mindfulness and focus on being present in the moment rather than dwelling on the past or on worrying about the future or worrying about that which you cannot control. Shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. I actually have a whole full training that I go detail on fixed mindset to a growth mindset. So also check that out, because that will help you to understand a fixed mindset as well as a growth mindset and how you can shift into a growth mindset. Because embracing a growth mindset, right, allows you to see failures as opportunities to learn and improve rather than as reflections of mishaps or your inadequacy, right? So prioritize and shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, and then prioritize self-care and well-being. What we're doing right now is self-care and well-being, talking about burnout and also how you can really minimize or eliminate burnout, right at its core. All right. Is that making sense? Okay, because I want to make sure that we have time to discuss all of this in the end. So I hope you have a pen and paper and you're writing your questions as they come in, and you hear this. So reframe the way that you look at your work, right? Sometimes when I'm coaching and I'm talking to people, they come in and there's all these mixed emotions about the workplace and everything. And when we start to talk, we start to find ways of reframing and trying to find some value in the work that you do. So try that. Try to find some value in your work. What valuable things can you name or write down right now about the work that you do? What are some of the benefits that you get from the work that you do? Find balance in your work. Again, make friends at work, even if it's one person that you can say, you know what, I have this one person that I'm friends with at work, and it's all worth it. And don't forget, take some time off. It was put there for a reason, because companies put in time off because they knew that the work is going to be overwhelming, the work is going to be too much at some point. So they put in vacation days, sick time days, that you can take time off. And I have people that say, oh, I carry my vacation days every year, and one of these days I'll take all my vacation days. Don't do that. Make use of those vacation days and take a break, because if you don't, at some point, I'm telling you, burnout catches up, stress catches up, mental, physical exhaustion catches up. Take a break, take some time off, go on a vacation, use up your sick days. Ask for a temporary leave of absence, mental health absence, anything to remove yourself from your situation or the job at some time, throughout the year, is very helpful to recharge your batteries and pursue other methods of recovery. Does that make sense? All right. I always want to check with this. How many of you have taken vacation this year? Just with a yes or no. Yes, no, no, yes. Okay, I have more no's that are coming in here, and I know that it's still, early in the year. But then let me ask this year: is anyone here already planned their vacation and they're going to be taking a vacation? I still have no's. I still have some people that have no's. Okay, I hope that by taking this training today, that you're going to be planning it. Because here's the thing, right, with vacation time. When you don't plan for it and you say, oh, I will, at some point I will, the mind is getting exhausted and tired because of the day-to-day work that you're doing, the thoughts that you're having, and everything else. Whereas I'm very good at this. So I have a trip planned for the UK. I have a trip planned for Boston, Massachusetts, and I have a trip planned for Jamaica for this 2024. So now my mind, whenever I feel overwhelmed, stressed out, or feel like, guess where my mind goes? But you've got these 3 trips that are planned. Oh, I forgot. I'm also doing a 4-day cruise to the Bahamas. Yes. So my mind quickly goes to that, right? And say, oh, you get all this. And all of a sudden I'm like, it feels good to know that I'll have 4 days off. I'll have 3-day weekends. I'll have 5-day, in the UK. So all of those days now in those times give me energy. And I'm like, okay, all right, let me work, because that time will come. Because I've already booked my tickets. I've already made my reservations, and I'm going somewhere, right? So to take some time off, plan ahead, book ahead, because your mind needs that reassurance that you're serious about taking time off, that you're serious about minding your thoughts, your mind, and taking care of yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually. Did you hear my voice, that it even changed when I started talking about taking the time off and where I'm going? All of a sudden, I was like, oh, I have a renewed energy when I talk about that. You need that. Reframe the way that you look at everything. All right. Reevaluate your priorities. When was the last time that you reviewed the boundaries that you have? Or maybe, do you even have boundaries? If your answer is yes, what are your boundaries? So if we were doing this live, right? This is where I look at your faces, because right now I can't see your faces. So when I say, do you have boundaries? People will just be like, I guess I do, but I can't see you. So yes, please write in there, yes or no, in the chat, so I see. Do you have boundaries? And if so, if you don't mind, share some of your boundaries that you have in there, so that at least you also are reassuring yourself that you have. So setting boundaries allows you to not overextend yourself, right? It allows you to be able to say no to requests that you know you're not able to fulfill. So set boundaries at work, at home, in your personal, professional life. And then nourish your creative side, creativity. It really helps, when you have creativity. Take a daily break, do the things that really replenishes you. So I love doing this as well, because then I love to share what I do. So remember I told you earlier on that I go on prayer lines on Wednesdays, and get on there for an hour, or hop in there for an hour. On Sundays, and you'll find all of this on YouTube. If you just put Dr. Stem, be encouraged, is Dr. Stem one word, DRSTEM, and then be encouraged as two different words. You'll find also one of my channels there that you'll find motivation, inspiration that I do on daily nuggets of just daily dose of motivation. But my excitement is on Sundays. Sunday morning, I play 1 hour of gospel music. So on YouTube, you'll find the replays. It's, the channel is called Let's Praise Him with Dr. Stem. I play gospel music. That's my creative side. I love doing that, inspiring, encouraging others through gospel music. I love doing that. I also love writing books where I invite other people to come in and write a chapter in a book that I publish every year. So they're called Bounce Back book series. Those you can check out on my website, drstemi.com. So all of those things, when I'm saying them, people are like, where do you get the time to do that? It's only an hour that I take. But when I do that, that's my refueling. It's almost like saying, how often do you fuel your car? And you say, well, whenever the gas is out, I stop and put gas in it. Same with me. I do all of those because that's my way of replenishing myself. So I do that as a way to relax and have fun at the same time. So don't forget to set aside relaxation time. Yes, I watch movies. I watch comedy. I love laughs. And I love to just sleep and do nothing, like absolutely nothing. I also love to get plenty of sleep. That I don't compromise. At 59 years old, I am not compromising my sleep. I love to sleep, because when you feel tired, even all of this work, if I am exhausted and tired on a Sunday morning, I am sure to call my producers and say, listen, I hate to do this, but I'm just feeling so tired this morning, because I play at 9 o'clock in the morning, right? So I'm like, oh, I'm so tired this morning. And they always have a standby, and somebody else will jump in and just say, hey, I'm standing in for Dr. Stem this morning, and we're going to be doing Let's Praise Him. So I'm not shy or embarrassed. When I need to sleep, I need to sleep. So that's the good thing about it. So reevaluate your priorities and make sure that you have a combination of these things here that really replenish you, so that you're not burned out. This one is a good one. I told you I'm a mental health professional. Manage your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. This is a good one. We need to manage troublesome thoughts and feelings. When I ask how many people have ever spoken to a mental health professional, sit down and just talk about life, how many people will raise their hands? A lot of people will say, well, I've never done it because then, I just feel like I can manage. Well, I'll tell you this. Talking to a mental health professional really is helpful, especially when it comes to thoughts and feelings, because sometimes we have what we call repressed feelings and emotions, and we think we're doing okay, but we're absorbing so much that when you come in now and we're talking on Zoom and I just say, hello, how are you? Just by saying, how are you? People would just start talking and we just talk. By the end of the session, they go, I was wondering what I was going to talk about. But the minute you said, how are you? Or the minute you asked me this, or the minute that you say this, I just felt comfortable and I started talking. And then I didn't realize that all of these things were on me. So I want to encourage you to find time to talk to a mental health professional, myself included. If you are in a workplace, many jobs have what we call employee assistance programs, where you get 3 or more free sessions to talk to mental health professionals like myself. And none or less people use that. Use your EAP, Employee Assistance Program. You can ask the human resources, you can ask your managers and ask them for that number. It usually is an 800 number that you call, and they'll give you the names of the people that are contracted under your EAP and talk to someone. Motivate yourself to take the steps that can relieve stress and burnout. Improve your relationships at work and home. Some people bury themselves at work because then they don't want to deal with home. That is not helpful. It's not going to be helpful because then things get worse. I'm always amazed, surprised at people that say, to be honest, we haven't talked with my partner in years. We just say hi, bye, and I go to work. And we act like, okay, she's there, he's there, but we're just like not connected. At some point, that is overwhelming. That is burnout, mentally burnout. And because you can live like that, you can live as if, you don't see or hear each other when you're living under the same roof. Rediscover joy and meaning that make work and life worthwhile. Find the things that can make you excited to be in the workplace, make you excited to be home, rather than when it's time to be home or to log out from your room that you're hiding or the bathroom that you've been working all day, and it's time to really mix around with the family. You're like, oh, do I really have to go there? Because I'd rather be on this screen or on this phone all day. Find a way to reconnect back into the family as well as with co-workers, and then increase your overall health and happiness. Once again, do you remember the days that we used to have hobbies? We talked about having hobbies. What are your hobbies? Let me just see in the chat room. Hobbies, traveling. Yep, you're like me, traveling. Fishing, okay. Oh, somebody likes gardening. My mother loves gardening. She's always, doing something with the garden. Okay, gardening. Somebody said yoga. Okay. Chess, playing chess. Okay. So you see, people have hobbies. But when was the last time that you did that hobby? When was the last time that you participated or even initiated with friends or other people that can, that love the same thing that you love? When was the last time you went fishing? So those are some of the things that can help increase your overall health and happiness when you do that. Saying no more often. This is one big problem that a lot of people, even up to today, I'm always amazed. People are like, I have a problem saying no. Well, guess what? Saying no is necessary when you have too much work or someone else can help you out. So if somebody comes and says, hey, are you able to do this? You see, are you able to do this? Somebody asked me that gives me a window to say no. Are you able to? Actually, to be honest with you, no, I can't. So you have to do this year. Can you drop everything that you're doing now because I need you to do this? That doesn't give me room to say no if I'm in a workplace, because then, I'm being told to drop what I need because then I need to do this year. It's almost like, you know what, who am I to fight it? So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But if I have an option and somebody else can do it, then I'm going to be brave enough to say, no, I have this other project that I'm really doing that is, needed tomorrow within 24 hours or next week or, a month, but I'm really, busy with it. Is there somebody else that can do it? You see, so my no is a little gentler, but at the same time, I'm asking, can you consider somebody else? So sometimes you get more with honey, right? I just say no, but at the same time, I'm like, is there somebody else that can do it? So if I have a manager that is saying, to be honest with you, I've asked everybody else, and you're actually the best person that can help me out with this right now. Okay, I guess I can do that. But many a time, if we don't say no, people will just assume that we're always going to be yes people. Do not be a yes person. Let go of perfectionism. Sometimes producing a perfect piece of work is not required. Good enough is all that is needed sometimes when it's good. Remember at the beginning of this, I told you that one of the things that I do now is if I do something and I share it with someone to proof it for me, read it for me, does it make sense? And they say yes, it's going, because then many a time I'll look at it and go, maybe I need to change this. Maybe I need to have, my assistant change this. But then that's me. And now I've learned to say, no, good enough is good enough. Let go. So also let go of that which is beyond your reach. Some people are working so hard for a promotion, and the company is saying, well, right now I need you to focus on this. And right now, the reality is with COVID brought a lot of changes. Some of the practices that were held in the companies is not the same practices anymore. The promotions. So you might see that there are changes now that they're doing in there. They ask and really see, is this worth it? Do I, need to continue to put so much effort when the process has changed, or, it's not going to happen for me this year or this time? So, do check, talk to the managers, leadership, but if it's taking too much out of you and you're getting burnout and you're now getting stressed and you can't sleep and you can't eat, you're getting irritable, let it go. Let it go for now. It just doesn't mean that you're closing the door to it. But for now, let it go. Okay. Focus more on self-care. Self-care, self-care, self-care. Get 8 hours of sleep a night. Go for a walk. I love walking. I live in Orlando, Florida. Great sunshine state. That's what I love this place for. So eat a meal, rich, nutritious meal. Listen to a podcast. Meditate. Journal. Write it down. Connect with a faith community. Volunteer in your area. Meet a friend for coffee and just laugh. For a change. Laughter is great. Spend 30 minutes a week tracking your finances. Take cold, warm baths or showers. Oh, by the way, you want to listen to a podcast? I also have a podcast. So if this training has been great for you and you enjoyed it, go also and listen to my podcasts that I do. And you can find all of that stuff in Google as well. If you just, put Dr. STEM, the books that I mentioned, if you put one word Dr. STEM books in Google, they will all flock down, all 50 plus of them books. So seek professional help. Meet with your primary physician for a full medical checkup every year or as needed. And just like we do full physical checkups, I encourage you to take a full mental health checkup. Talk to a professional therapist for additional support or just for a checkup. Where you just call, Dr. Sam, I want to make an appointment, to talk to you. Okay, then you come in. I say, what's going on now? I just want to do a mental health checkup. Nothing is really going on, but I just thought, you know what? Let me just talk to a mental health, therapist and just do a mental health checkup. I've got these EAP programs, or you know what? I figured I'll spend a little bit of money on myself and just check on my mental health professional. Whoa, check, check, check. You really would have captured and prevented burnout from stealing the joys in your life. So seek professional help, in every way. Again, you're also preventing yourself from the physical ailments, medical ailments that could be a result of stress and burnout that could happen. And it's happening to many people, which is sad because it might be too late. So as I end, let me just share with you more on my services that I do. I have a self-care success empowerment workshops where you can join live or receive replay recordings. I also invite guest facilitators so you'll be entertained or enlightened, encouraged by other presenters as well in these workshops. So I always am excited about it. I also provide life, career, and business coaching. And as I mentioned before, if you want to become a co-author in our Ben Spec book series, learn more at www.drstemi.com. So with all of this, I want to say what I always say: be encouraged. And I'm now open to having an open discussion with all of you. So I'm going to go through now in the chat and see what you have. However, you can unmute yourself and ask a question or make a comment. I'm open, to all of that as well.